Hey guys, what is up? I hope everybody's doing good today. Today we're talking about intermittent fasting. Now guys, I know some of you are thinking, great, intermittent fasting video number 10,000 on YouTube. Yo, I'm gonna try to do this one a little bit differently than some of the other ones. I'm not gonna go into incredible detail about what intermittent fasting is, drawing with charts and breaking down times that you need to do this, and it's gonna be when you're most successful for not eating and stuff. Yo, I'm gonna tell you basically what intermittent fasting is, the short version. I'm gonna sit there and tell you kind of some of the general guidelines that go with it really quickly. And then most importantly, I'm gonna talk about a few things you can do to set yourself up for the most success with it. Now guys, before we get started, hit that like button for us. Yo, it helps us out so much, it helps our channel out. So hit that like button and we're gonna get started going ahead and talking about intermittent fasting. So y'all, intermittent fasting, first and foremost, is basically just taking time out of each and every day when you're not eating. Now listen, every one of us does this in some small form or fashion. It's called sleeping, unless you're someone who can actually eat while you sleep every day, which y'all, that's a completely different talent. But y'all, every one of us, we know statistically the average adult in the United States sleeps for about 6.5 hours a day. Now, this means that you have a 6.5, 7 hour, 8 hour, depending on how much you sleep, time window when your body is not consuming any calories. And ultimately that's the point of intermittent fasting, is to go a certain portion of your day without any calories. Y'all, intermittent fasting can do lots of things as far as help with additional fat loss. It can help with body functions, just getting them regulated properly. It can help with inflammation in joints and help with the different connective tissue there. It can help in a ton of different ways. That's why it has so many appeals. And another one of them is it has a huge weight loss appeal. Because your body's going on this time each day. Usually, for most people, it's this time each day when you're not consuming any more calories, when you're still up, being active, doing things, going to work, going to the gym, or whatever you're doing. And so your body is having to tap into stored body fat in order to give it the energy it needs to make it through that stuff. Now, a couple of just general guidelines in regards to how intermittent fasting works. Number one, like we said, it's basically taking a portion of each day when you're not eating. Most people will block off somewhere between 8 and 10 hours for their time that they're eating. The other portions of the day, they're not eating. Whether it's 16 hours, 15 hours, whatever they're doing, depending on that time domain, they will be fasting during the rest of that. Now, during your fast, you're allowed to drink water. You're allowed to even drink something like black coffee, even like a sparkling water. Just the biggest rule is there's no calories that actually get taken into your body. Now, y'all, don't use the no calories thing to go start chugging down Diet Coke either. That doesn't count when we're intermittent fasting. But I have intermittent fasted 2 or 3 times in my life. I typically do the way I do it, I will sit there and start eating about 12 or 1 o'clock in my eating window somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But I'll get up and have 1 or 2 cups of black coffee in the morning. I drink my coffee black anyway. It's not like I'm sacrificing. That's how I want it anyway. So there's no calories I'm actually taking in, so it works perfectly. But we're taking this time and we're not eating during it. Then during our eating window, we're able to consume our calories for the day. We have our time when we're done eating for the day, and then we're fasting, and we're not eating until the same time the next day, whether it's noon, whether it's 11, whether it's 1, whatever your time domain is. So that's the general ideas behind how we structure intermittent fasting. Now guys, there's a couple of rules that everybody needs to realize. And so many people miss these because they hear about intermittent fasting from their brother or from their mom or from a buddy. And they just hear how great it's been. And they go, I just don't eat here. And one of the problems that a lot of people have is they think because you're eating in a smaller time window each day, that means you need to eat less food. So you need to eat less calories, less macronutrients. That couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Think about it. If you're sitting there every day going to spend 1.5 hours or 2 hours at your CrossFit gym, or going to do a heavy strength session at the gym every day for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, or you're training for a triathlon, and you're spending time on a bike and spending time swimming some days, and you're doing long runs other days, and you're still lifting other days, you need to be able to have the same caloric intake. That caloric intake that you have is what's helping you make gains no matter what type of activity you're doing. So y'all, number one, you need to make sure your calorie intake is exactly what it needs to be. If you're someone who needs 3,000 calories a day, whether you're intermittent fasting for 9 hours or you're eating throughout 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. time frame, you need to have your 3,000 calories. Y'all, if your macros say that you need to have 250 grams of protein a day, whether you're intermittent fasting or not, you still need to have your 250 grams of protein a day. The only difference is you're compressing them into a smaller amount of time. So we need to make sure that we're getting all of the things we need. Y'all, the other thing that people get in this trap of is thinking that they have to eat on a certain schedule because that's what they might do every other day. They might eat at 6, at noon, and at 6. So they're eating every 6 hours. So, okay, I'm only eating for a 9-hour window, so I have to eat every 3 hours. That's the farthest thing from the truth as well. Your body needs to fuel, and guess what? Either you're eating 3 really big meals, or you're going to have to eat some other things in between there. So don't get this mindset that everything has to be so rigid and has to be fitting into the way our minds think about things or the way other people have told you they've had success. You may be getting information from your mom or your dad or your aunt, and they're sitting there telling you this, and they don't go to the gym ever. Or they may go to the gym 3 days a week and go on an elliptical for 30 minutes and then kind of hee-haw around for 20 minutes doing a little bit of strength training on just some machines. And that's all they do every week. Nothing against that, but that may be all they do. And so if that's the case, what they needed to do, what they had success with, is completely different than if you're going to the gym, doing some strength work, doing 1 or 2 Metcons, doing some aerobic capacity work every single week and every single day. Y'all, it's completely different. So understand that. Understand those things, and that's going to help get you set up and get you in the right mind frame to take on intermittent fasting. Now, y'all, a couple of things that you need to understand to help you specifically. Y'all, number one, just because everybody else says that they've had success fasting from and doing something like I do, not eating till noon, 1 o'clock, and eating until 8 or 9 o'clock, does not in any way, shape, or form mean that's what you need to do. Y'all, figure out a schedule that works for you. If that means you need to sit there and eat at 6 a.m. when you wake up and eat from 6 to 3 in the afternoon, and that's when your window shuts down, okay, so what? Y'all, pick a time domain. As long as you're only eating within your hours of it, pick a time domain that's going to work for you, for your schedule, for your workouts, for your life. Now, we don't want to dive into intermittent fasting and be miserable because it doesn't really work doing it from noon to 8 every day. But if we take a little bit of time and think about it, it's like, I could do it from 10 to 6 every day. That would be good. I could handle that just fine. Number 2, don't think because everybody else has done intermittent fasting that it's right for you. Just like all the other fad diets and all these other diets, you may be someone who, you've tried paleo and it doesn't work for you, or way back in the day you did Atkins diet or something else like that. And none of those things really worked for you. Okay. Intermittent fasting may not work for you. You may be someone who it helps your body out so much. It helps your workout so much. It helps your performance in the gym so much. It helps your cognitive performance at work, being able to think through the day better, to be having a normal meal cycle. That's fine. Don't sit there and think because all of your buddies or all your friends are doing it or all your relatives are talking about how great intermittent fasting is. Don't think that you have to do that because you don't. Number 3, plan your meals. I can't tell you how much planning your meals is important. Lay it out before you start, like the day or 2 days before you decide to start intermittent fasting. Say, I'm going to have this for breakfast, this lunch, this dinner. I'm going to have this before I go to the gym, a bar here. Okay, I'm going to have a shake after my workout. Okay, where are some gaps? Do I need to have another shake? Do I need to have another bar? Do I need to throw in another kind of snack? Plan that out. That way at the end of the day, you're not sitting there with a 40 calorie or a 40 protein gram deficiency saying whoa, where did this come from? I'm short 40 grams. And you do that every day for a week before you finally figure it out. And all of a sudden for the whole week, you're sitting there at 200 grams of protein lower than you need to. That's important. especially if you're trying to do something with reduced carbs, or you're trying to do maybe an extra gym session, getting ready for the open or a local competition. Y'all, all of those things matter. Y'all, the other part of this, number 4, is plan your weeks out in advance. Plan this whole thing out in advance. Figure out if you're going to be able to consistently do this. Are you going to be able to sit there and say, day in and week out, day in and day out, I can do from noon to 8? Or this week is it 6 to 2, next week is it noon to 8, the following week is it 9 to 4. What's going to be a schedule that works for you? Plan it out a little bit and see what's actually going to work. Y'all, if you see that you're not having a lot of success figuring out a consistent schedule, maybe try to work something in between there. Maybe instead of doing 6 to 4 one week and then the following week doing noon to 8, maybe sit there and say, okay, I'm going to try both weeks. I'm going to try every week to do from like 10 to 6. Okay, y'all, but think about it. Plan it out. Figure out what's going to work for you with it. And y'all, number 5, because maybe you didn't have a lot of success with intermittent fasting the first time or the second time or the third time, if you've done it before, don't feel like you need to sit there and abandon it completely if you really want to go with it. You know, it has a ton of health benefits. Your body can reap a ton of rewards for it. But y'all understand that maybe you were following what somebody else was doing, what was right for somebody else's body, not what's going to be right for you. So make a plan and then execute it according to what's best for you, not what's best for your sister or your best friend. Work on what's going to be best for you and your body, your activity level, and what's going to help you. Guys, I hope that helps. Hope that gives some clarity on intermittent fasting, some ways you can be successful, some ideas and tips to help you get prepared to do it. Y'all, the most important thing is prepare to do it. Don't start in the middle of the week because your friend talked to you about it at work and sit there and say, oh, I'm going to start that tomorrow. And y'all, then you don't have the food, you're eating junk. Y'all, we want to eat good foods, good, clean, whole foods, because y'all, we still got to get the nutrients we want. We want to have a plan with it. If that means we need to meal prep or do whatever, y'all, do all those things. Do your planning. Get yourself mentally prepared and planned, and y'all have success with it. Guys, hope that helps. Y'all, once again, if you haven't already, hit that like button down below. And guys, I'll see y'all next time.